Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome. My name's Michael Schwartz with Gun Owners Radio, and this is Lead Talks. Lead Talks is the opportunity for you to hear from instructors all over Southern California, including San Bernardino and Riverside County and Orange County and San Diego County. And if you've never trained with somebody, this is your opportunity to interview somebody to train with. If you have trained with somebody, this is your opportunity to hear from another trainer that you should maybe give a try. So it's free. Sit back and relax. Basically, what I do is I introduce our guest and they talk about something that is near and dear to them, some kind of philosophy or concept or something that they're particularly knowledgeable about and fashionable, knowledgeable about and passionate about. Gun Owners Radio, check us out at gunownersradio.com every Sunday from 5 to 7. We moved an hour, so it's every Sunday, 5 to 7. Go to youtube.com/gun owners radio and you'll be able to listen to us live. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my good friend and truly somebody I respect and just absolutely value talking to and listening to, Mike Pettengill from Personal Protection Academy in Marietta in the beautiful county of Riverside. And he's going to talk about hardening your home. How you doing, Mike?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Always a pleasure to be associated with anything to do with San Diego County gun owners and gun owners radio. Um, uh, Always something that my wife and I are really focused on doing is making sure we carve out time to listen to that podcast every week. So if you guys don't get a chance to listen to it on Sundays, make sure you pick it up on the podcast. It's one of our weekly to-dos. So, what we're doing tonight is we're going to talk about hardening your home. A lot of times when you're working with firearms instructors, what you're doing is you're working on hardening your mind. You're working on hardening your skills. You're working on making sure that you have the ability to take care of yourself and take care of those that you love. Well, the reality is any decent firearms instructor is going to do everything they can to make sure you don't have to use your firearm, that it's the last thing you're doing. And what you want to do is you want to harden your life. You want to prepare your life in the place where you spend time. Are you prepared in your car? You spend a lot of time in your car. Are you prepared at your place of work because you spend a lot of time there? And are you prepared at your home? That's a big deal. Is how can you harden your home, the place where you spend at least 8 hours a night? Uh, how can you harden your home so that you and those that you love are well taken care of? So here's the reality. I want to start with a cold hard fact. Okay, I don't care if you live on 20 acres or you live in a HOA or you live in an apartment or you live in a van down by the river. The reality is that if somebody wants to get in your home, they're going to do it. We can't stop folks. The dedicated opponent, we cannot stop the dedicated opponent from breaking into our home. We have to start with that as a concept. Um, if you can't stop someone from breaking into your home who really wants to get into your home, what is it we're looking to do? You're looking to, number one, deter them. And then number two, you're looking to buy time and distance. Okay, so what does that mean? We're looking to deter them. I'm looking to be dead honest. I'm looking for someone to bypass my house and send them on to yours. Um, if a bad guy wants to rob a home, a sociopath wants to break in and feed his addictions or his family or pay his rent or whatever he's going to do with that. If he wants to get in there, he's gonna. If he's going to rob, he's going to rob someone. The goal is just to make sure it's not me. So I live in a condo, a series of condos, and if you stand across the green belt from our condos, it all looks very similar, except one house stands out, and I'll describe it to you. Get that visual picture in your mind of a row of condos. Condo on the left, no lights, no sign of life. Next condo to the right, no lights, no sign of life. Next condo to the right, looks like it's got enough lights on to signal planes coming in from LAX. Next condo to the right, no sign of life, no lights, right? The one with all the lights is mine. Now, are lights some sort of kryptonite to bad guys? Are lights some sort of force field that keeps bad guys out of your home? No, not at all. All I'm looking to do is I'm looking the bad guy to stand across that green belt away from my condo and look at all those condos and say, see, I'm going to break into one of these tonight. I think I'll skip that one. I just want to push the bad guys out of my condo and into somebody else's condo. I'm looking to protect my family and me. That's my responsibility. So I start off with lights, and I start off with lots of lights. I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and I'm going to mention Lowe's or Home Depot a lot, so they should give me a sponsorship. I'm going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm going to buy a lot of those little energy efficient lights because here's a reality. Every place that I've got lights on the exterior of my home, I'm going to put a photo sensor on, which is again something you can purchase from Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's just going to detect light. My lights on the exterior of my home are on 24 hours a day, but the photo sensor turns them off at sunrise, turns them back on at sunset. And so any time of the evening, when the sun has gone down, my place looks like like I'm landing airplanes from LAX. I want everything to stand out in my home. I want it to be a visual deterrent right off the bat. Then that's my first layer of defense. Not a layer of defense. I'm just deterring people, right? The next thing that you're going to see that you're going to try to deter someone with is lots of cameras. So outside of my home, there's 4 exterior cameras, and 3 of those have floodlights attached to them. So they're motion sensor floodlights. If you make any sort of movement outside my home, floodlight comes on right in your face. Then I've got motion sensitive cameras that are going to be recording something from 4 different angles. So lots of exterior options. Now you say, well, I live in an apartment. I can't have that. You absolutely can. I've got the same thing inside my office, except all the cameras are on the inside. I have some in the windowsill in my office that are cameras facing outside. So the cameras and the lights, the motion sensor lights, those are deterrents. What about cutting away bushes from your windows so that you from the inside can see over your windows, right? Making sure that there's lots of space for you to see everything and that no one can be hiding below those windows with bushes. What about simple things like a sign that says this home is protected 24 hours a day by monitored video surveillance? And you're saying, oh, I want an alarm sign. Here's the thing: if you have ADT, don't get an ADT sign. If you have Ring, don't get a Ring sign. You're telling the bad guys what kind of system you have, and if they know how to crack it, they're going to seek your house out first. Get a generic sign off of Amazon, get it in English and Spanish, and put it in the front, the back, the side of your house. Put the signs on the exterior and says, "Yep, if you're coming in, you're gonna get videoed." It's just another form of deterrent. Is any of this so far um, lights, cameras, cutting away bushes, signs, is anything a true deterrent? No. It's not physically going to keep anyone out of my house. But what it's going to do is it's going to cause the average casual sociopath or criminal to stop and look and say, is this the effort I want to put in to my work today? Because let's analyze a sociopath. What's a sociopath? A sociopath is somebody who, just like you and me, they want to feed their family, feed their addiction, pay their rent, and take care of their expenses. Just like you and me, they want to do a good job at their form of employment, and they want to put in a minimal level of effort. Now, I love my job, and I prepared for 45 minutes to speak to you guys for 30 minutes. Um, I prepared for my job, but I didn't prepare for 4 hours to speak for 30 minutes. No sane person is going to do that. A sociopath is the same way. If they're going to commit crime, they're looking for the least amount of effort with the biggest amount of bang as possible. So we've talked about the exterior. Now let's talk about breaching my home, getting into my home. Now, again, If I want in your house, I'm going to get in. If you want in my house, you're going to get in. We can't be stopped. What am I looking for? I'm looking to create time and distance to make sure that I have a little bit of extra buffer time so that I can defend myself and defend my family. So what are we talking about? FBI says that the number one point of entry if someone's trying to get in your home is your front door. So that is your first thing that you're hardening is your front door. Number two is back doors or side doors. And number three is first floor windows. In that order, you want to harden the entry points that are statistically probable. I also want you to step outside your apartment, step outside your home, step outside your condo, look in and say, is this what if I'm a sociopath, I'm looking to break in, I'm looking to enter this home, how would I do it? Would I get up on the roof here? Would I go through that window there and analyze your home? Not of oh how beautiful the paint job is or how wonderful that tree is, but if I wanted to break into that house, if I'm a scumbag, how do I get in? Okay. So go back to the statistical probabilities. Front door is the main place. So spend your first amount of effort hardening your front door. When we moved into our condo, it was built in 1984. We moved in 2018, and it had two beautiful hollow core doors, which stops nobody, right? It had a faux door and the pedestrian door. And when you looked at it, it just looked so easy to get through. It had one deadbolt and it had the original screws that are inside the hinges and the deadbolt plates and every part of the door that holds it together. And what are those original screws? Let's analyze this. If your home was built anytime in the last 40 years, it was built by a developer that all they want to do is they want to make a penny here and a penny there and a penny there, and eventually a penny adds up to a couple $100,000 and they've made money off of that development. Well, they start looking at things like, hey, a 1-inch screw is safer, but a 3/4 inch screw that saves us about 1 cent per screw. 100 screws times per home. 10 homes we're going to build. That's starting to save money. Okay, go into your home, pull out a couple of screws on the exterior doors, and analyze them. Most of them are going to be little 3/4 inch screws. Now, what I want you to do, the first thing I want you to do is get rid of those 3/4 inch screws. I want you to go down to Lowe's and Home Depot, and I want you to purchase 3-inch screws, big screws. Put those in all the screw holes where your deadbolt plates are, where your hinges are. Okay. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to replace that hollow core door with a solid door. Okay. We ended up spending about $4,000 completely redoing our front doors just to buy us time. We'll talk about how much time we bought ourselves, but get rid of the hollow core doors, put in some solid doors, get rid of the 3/4 inch screws and replace them with 3-inch screws. Next thing, put in a couple kick plates on your doors. That's not going to stop anyone from getting in, but it is going to help disperse the energy. Then put in another deadbolt. Then the next thing we did is we took out the regular peephole. We put in a video camera peephole. It's about the size of an Apple phone, and you look through it to see who's on the other side. Next thing we did after we put in the second deadbolt is we put in a stronger plate for that deadbolt. Then the next thing we did is we took a pass bolt and we put it in the decorative door, put the pass bolt down into the ground. Then we put another pass bolt up into the frame on the upper end of that door. Then we put another pass bolt in the upper end of the frame on the pedestrian door, the one that opens up. So we did all this extra work, $4,000 for a new double set of doors, right? Looks nice. What did we buy ourselves? Here's the reality is a typical set of suburban doors aren't enforced in any way. The average person can get into those doors with about 2 kicks. 2 kicks. What does 2 kicks sound like, right? 2 kicks sounds like this in my head. My wife and I are sitting there on the couch about 10 feet away from the front door and there's that first kick. What the heck was that? Second kick. They're in the house. We're under attack. Our inability to act rapidly cost us our lives potentially. So we reinforce our front door. And what is that going to buy us? It's going to take maybe 6 or 8 kicks to get into that door. You're still going to get in, but it's going to take 6 or 8 kicks. What does that sound like in my head? First kick. What the hell was that? Second kick. Is that someone trying to kick in the door? Third kick. Grab the gun, get upstairs, go hide, call 911. I just bought myself time. That's all I did. Okay. Same thing with your back doors. You want to find ways to reinforce your rear doors, your side doors, and your windows. What about your windows? Let's talk about those. Not a lot of options, but drapes are nice. If people can't see in or out, that's good. I like to put the dark film, the mirrored film, and make sure that during the daytime people can't see in. Then in addition, I want to we replaced all the glass on our back windows with double pane shatter resistant glass. Does that mean you can't get in? Nope. But what it means, the difference is before we replace those windows, you take a brick, you throw it through the window, you're in the house. What it means now is you make 3 attempts to get that brick through the window and you can't get in just yet. What have I bought myself? We spent all that money replacing those windows with double pane, shatter resistant windows. We bought ourselves a couple of seconds, and that's fine. Then what about the back doors? Consider Smart Tech. Smart Tech is good. We use a brand of deadbolt called August, and August connects to your phone. It puts a geofence around your home. When you leave that geofence, your phone leaves that geofence, it automatically locks the deadbolt if you forgot. Then when you enter the geofence, then it's going to open that deadbolt for you. When you get in the house, if you forgot to lock it again, it automatically locks that deadbolt for you. So we use those. There are a lot of great other options, but August is the one we use. Then let's talk about the inside and the rest of that security system we talked about. We have a monitored system. And what we did is we put cameras all over the house, except in our guest room. We didn't do that. That'd be a little creepy. So we have glass break sensors on near every window in the downstairs. We have motion sensors throughout the home. We have cameras to see literally everywhere except the guest room. We have breach sensors for every door and every window. And we put those in, and it's just buying us time. It's a monitored system. We get notified if we're not home and somebody's trying to get in. We look at the security system as Americans, and we have them in our home and they're nice, but here's the reality is a lot of people don't set them. And what's the number one reason people don't set them is because pets and kids, because they don't know how to set the sensors to adjust for the pets and kids. Figure it out. We got a 65-pound dog who roams around the house all day long, and the sensors are on and the alarm never goes off. So the dog can move around and you can make that happen. Okay. Having an option. Is it going to keep anyone out? No. Loud squeals and notification for the police to come, that's going to help. Someone wants in, they're going to get in. Now, here's something I want to really focus on. We've yet to talk about weapons, but I still don't want to get into the concepts of weapons just yet, because the reality is I want this conversation to exist for people with or without weapons. So we'll come and talk about weapons in a second, but I want to talk about this one. I think this is a big issue, and this comes from a concept of I want to survive, right? My goal is to survive. If someone wants to break into my home and they want to steal my TV or they want to steal my couch or I don't have fine jewelry or china or whatever they want to steal, number one, it's insured. And number two, at 2 a.m. the next day, I can go to Walmart and buy another one for $250, whatever it is. I don't care about any of that stuff. They can have all of it. None of it matters to me. What matters to me is me and my family. So I'm willing to give up all that stuff without any kind of fight. All right, Mike, you're a coward. Castle Doctrine says I can shoot someone. Yeah, I don't, that's not my thing. I want to survive. Okay, Johnny the meth head comes into my house and he wants to steal my TV. Johnny can have it. I don't want to get in a gun duel with Johnny the meth head because I'm a good shot. I'm a competitive shooter. I'm a firearms instructor. I could probably outshoot Johnny, but all Johnny needs is a lucky ricochet to end my life. That's it. I don't want to play that game. So my strategy, my family's strategy, run and hide. Run and hide. Be a coward a day to live and hide another day. And you can judge that and do what you want. It's all good. My family and I, we've reconciled that. We want to run and hide. So here's what we've done, and I'm not going to give you too much details, but give you enough. We've picked a position in our home, and we kind of created a safe room in there. Now, don't get excited. It's not like a Bruce Wayne style safe home, right? But safe room, but it's a safe room nonetheless. Outside of that safe room, we've put a double deadbolt door. We've put a door prop next to the door, so we have to go into that safe area, double deadbolt the main door outside that area, and then we're going to go into that safe room area, and we have two pass bolts that lock into the wall frame. Inside that safe area, we've also replaced that door, the hollow core door, with the solid state door. Then inside there, we have sufficient enough firepower to defend our position. My wife knows to go there. I go here, and we point towards the fatal funnel. Someone wants to come in, they're going to get greeted. Well, in an era of mobile phones, we don't have a landline. My wife has a mobile phone. I have a mobile phone for business. I have a mobile phone. We also have a dedicated mobile phone in our secure area. It's not a wired phone, so no one can cut the wires. No one can fiddle with that. So it's a dedicated cell phone. We got off of a cell phone company named Tello, Tello. I don't hold stock in Tello. I just did all the research. I know they sell cheap refurbished phones, and they have a very cheap, about $6 a month mobile service that you can pay every month, and you maintain the same number and minimal expense, right? Got a dedicated mobile number in there. We also have a panic button. You hit the panic button, the monitored system doesn't get called. It goes straight to 911, notifies the police that there's an emergency, sets off the alarm in the home. We also have a big boy first aid kit, a big boy med kit in case either of us are hurt. And we have that in there. We have additional ammunition in there. We have fixed blade knives. We have folding knives. We have chemical sticks. Why would you have a chemical stick? We have a spare key in that room already for the home. And if the police come, I want the professionals to fend off the bad guy. That's not my job. I don't want to do that. If I call 911 and they say the police have arrived, I take the front door key and I tie it to a chemical stick and I throw it out the balcony. I tell them, go find the green chemical stick. That's where the key is, right? In addition, in that safe room, we have flashlights. We have some water that's in there in case we have to be in there for a while. But our goal is to hide in there, hide in that secure area. Also, near that area, we have a a two-story condo. We've also put a rope ladder. The rope ladder could be for a fire, or it could be a way for us to escape out the back balcony. But that's just another a secondary option. The reality with that safe room is I just want to stay away from anyone. I want to get on with 911. I want the professionals to come and solve the problem, and I want my family to be safe. Now, let's go ahead and talk about weapons. I basically hopefully set up your home with what I think are some basics that I think you need to harden your home to make it a deterrent to come in. Let's set up with a couple of weapons, talk about a couple of weapons, and then talk about a couple of other options. Firearms. So if you do not have your firearms secured in the great state of California, and I break into your home and I steal your firearm, you have it in a nightstand, you can be held partially liable legally if I use that firearm in a crime. So in that sense, my firearms have to be secured by law. If you have If you have a restricted person, like a minor, a felon, someone with a psychiatric hold, someone who's ever committed a misdemeanor domestic, they can't have access to your firearms. So I'm not going to tell you what, I'll always tell you to obey every law. And I'll also tell you that you need to do what you think keeps your family safe. So, are you going to place firearms or other weapons and additional ammunition in different places in your home that are secure and that comply with the law? We do. We have those options. Then, also, what about um, dogs as weapons or dogs as some sort of deterrent? Uh, Bad guys will tell you, sociopaths interviewed in prison will tell you dogs are a pretty big deterrent to them. So we have a pit bull and 65-pound pit bull rescued dog, and don't tell anybody, but she's not that vicious. But what do dogs provide as a deterrent? It's the visual of a dog and it's the sound of a dog. If a dog is barking or making noise, then that's going to draw attention that maybe the bad guy doesn't want to have if they're breaking into your home. Um, but understand the legal ramifications of having a dog. If your dog does attack someone, it's not just my dog got away, it's something that you're responsible for hurt someone. You're legally liable for that. Yeah, I know I'm a dog lover, but here's the reality is legally your dog is like a nightstand or a lamp. It doesn't have family status from a legal perspective. But your dog can be a deterrent with barking and so forth, but the liability you have to consider. What about you don't want to deal with the legal liability or you don't like dogs? What if you just bought a leash or some dog toys and put it on your front porch or your back porch and it looked like you had a dog? Not a bad deterrent, not a bad option. You have to pay attention if you're traveling. Make sure your mail isn't overflowing. Make sure that periodicals on your driveway are picked up by your neighbors. I'm a big fan of having a relationship with my neighbor, and my neighbor has a key to my home, and they park their car in my driveway when I'm gone, and we do vice versa for them. But to pick up packages, pick up mail from your home, and making sure that your home doesn't look like it's obvious you've not been there for a while. Um, and and I'm not a big fan of things like sending to the U.S. Postal Service that you're going to have your stop the mail going on. The reality for that is I don't want a lot of human beings to know I'm not home. So I'm not going to trust some random person at the U.S. Postal Service. I do encourage you to have lights go on and off. If you have a smart device like an Alexa or a Google, then you can program those into your system so that you can go on vacation mode and the lights go on and off at appropriate times. You can switch that stuff around. You can put it on radios or TVs to show that there's motion and action going on in the house. I think that's all very important, whether you're in the home or not. Making sure that people who happen to be looking at your house are seeing that there's activity taking place. Uh, let's quickly cover your vehicle. So you spend the most amount of time in your home. You're going to spend a lot of time in your vehicle. What about having the ability to have a weapon in your vehicle? Have you considered that something legal? You can't store firearms in your car, not even if you're a CCW holder. Um, when you're approaching your vehicle, make sure that you have your key fob in your hand. Make sure that you are looking around, you're paying attention. Make sure you look in your vehicle before you get in, because if your vehicle, let's say the driver's side is parked closest to the store, a bad guy might look at that and say, well, I'll break into the passenger side so they can't see the broken glass and they may be inside waiting for you. Don't sit around in your car and answer calls. Don't sit around and answer texts. Get in your car and bug out. Um, Having tinted windows so that it's legal in the great state of California is great. If you can't tell how many people are in my car, maybe I've got a friend the size of Hulk, maybe I don't, but you don't know that, right? There's a lot of options you can do to secure your car. And let's finish up with your home. A couple of things I want to add in. If you've got a Heidi key, right, get rid of that. if you know about Heidi keys that look like rocks, or you know about Heidi keys that go under potted plants, so are the bad guys, right? So get rid of your Heidi key. Give a key to your neighbor, or put a key in your car or something like that. What about the tech to have opening doors, like I talked about the August lock? What about having that for your children? There's things that you can put. The kids can have a key fob, and it's a sensor. And once the kids get within a certain distance of the house, it unlocks the door, locks the door behind them. Um, you've got to decide for your family what's best. There's a lot of options to consider. Um, I think if you've got valuables, you've got firearms, especially if you've got firearms, you need to invest in a safe, a quality safe, not an Amazon safe. Um, uh, no garbage stuff. It's got to, if you've got firearms, it has to be a DOJ certified safe. So have a quality way to store your documents. We've got our will and our trust in a safe, and we've got other important documents in the safe right there next to our firearms. So again, let me kind of conclude with this then. What you're looking for, again, you're not looking for a kryptonite fence. You're not looking for a way that's going to be completely impervious to any bad guy. You're not going to find that. What you're looking for is, number one, a deterrent, so that it causes the bad guys to pass your home by and go on to the next person. God bless them. I hope my neighbors are smart enough to listen to this, and they spend the time to do all these things too. So I don't feel guilty about sending the bad guy off to their house, but frankly, I don't care. I don't want bad guys in my house. My neighbors are responsible for their family. I'm responsible for mine. So I want deterrence, number one. Number two, all the upgrades I'm doing to my security system beyond deterrence are simply there to buy me time and to buy me distance. I want as much time away from the bad guy as possible. I want as much distance between me and the bad guy as possible. Anything you can do that gives you time or distance is going to be your ally, and is going to make sure that you have a higher probability of survival. If someone breaks into your home while you're there, there's about a 24% chance you're going to have a violent encounter. So you need to make sure that time and that distance is used wisely. So I think that's about where we want to go. Mike, anything you want to cover before we start to wrap this up, or anything I may have forgotten?
No, I thought that was awesome. I think that it was very pragmatic. I think that a lot of people, when they talk about home defense, go straight for guns and tactics and pieing corners and all that other stuff. But I think it's really more about, prevention and logistics and pragmatic things like what you were talking about with the longer screws in the front door and all that good stuff. I used to um, before I didn't have a dog, and I'd put beware of dog signs up. I
That's
thought
good.
that was a good idea.
Yep.
And then the other thing I think I've told you before is I had one of those, like a speaker cradle, like it's
Yeah.
like a speaker and you plug it in, and you
Mhm.
used to put but before everybody's phone was everything, you put your MP3 player in the
Yeah.
cradle, and I would play a book on tape that was just loud enough so that
Yep.
you could hear it when you're, about 2, 3 feet from the front door. It wasn't so loud that it would bug the neighbors, but it would, if you were standing at my front door or really standing at any of the windows, it would sound like somebody was inside having a conversation because you couldn't quite make it out. And
Awesome.
I thought those were real creative. I was real proud of myself for that, Mike.
That's good, brother. That's good. I like that. You mentioned something, the concept of clearing a house, pieing the room, understanding what's ballistic in your home and what's not, all that stuff. And that's cool. I teach all that stuff. But one of the things that I tell people is, please, dear God, if you don't have to use that stuff, don't use that. If my wife and I are securely hidden in our little hidey place and we've got as much between you and me as possible, I'm happy. I don't need to go pie the room and sneak around the house and get into a, a exchange of gunfire with some random meth head. I'm going to leave that up to the professionals. The only time I'm ever going to you know, tactically get around my house and clear my house is if my wife's on the other side. If I know that my wife or someone I love is vulnerable to the bad guy that's in the house. Other than that, brother, we're gonna hide and we're gonna be happy and we're gonna call the police and let them take care of it.
Yeah, I don't want to be a hero. If I wanted to be a hero, I'd have been a sixth grade teacher, but I'm
Yeah,
not. So,
yeah, yeah.
well, thanks, Mike. Anything else? Anything? Any parting words? Tell everybody
No,
how to get a hold of you.
yeah, so I'll leave you guys with this. Guns are great. If you want an instructor that's going to teach you how to do double backflips while you're doing your tactical reloads, I encourage you to go with some other instructor. My goal in life is to teach you how to avoid never using your gun. I don't want you to ever have to use your gun. I'd rather teach you common sense. I'd rather teach you situational awareness and conflict avoidance. That's what we're all about. If we can be of service to you, we do CCW work for both San Diego County and Riverside County. Our home base is out of Murrieta. We will do private lessons all over Southern California as long as we got enough people to cover the gas. And we'll do lots of great work for you. If any of this stuff sounds interesting to you, take a look at us on the web at www.the-ppa.com. That's Personal Protection Academy, the-ppa.com, or just give us a call, 951-574-9009.
Thanks a lot. And if you could, everybody watch us every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Go to youtube.com/gun owners radio. Or if it's during the week, just look us up on your favorite podcast provider, Gun Owners Radio. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Good night.